Hey you, so on this video, why I'm buying gold over silver right now, or why gold is the better buy right now. I'm going to be going over just that. I know there's a lot of, pro silver, and I'm going to be unboxing silver here for all of the shadow bashers whenever I talk gold over silver, and just going over a lot of the things I'm told whenever I speak pro gold over silver. I get the same comments, so I want to address them personally with my own answers to these common replies that I get when the questions put out there why gold is the better buy, and a lot of the most common, even as of recent, replies I get from some type of people, individuals, whenever they're more pro silver, and just give my own views and opinions on those replies that I normally get, and out of the most common replies. So as mentioned, I'm going to be unboxing, it's very windy out there, so bear with, this Silver Britannia. I believe it's a special anniversary box. Now, I've had these boxes for quite a while now. If you guys remember, on my collector coin trade I done with the swans, so the first Perth swans, I doubled my ounce count, so I think I got 500 of these in total in the long run, and I haven't opened all the boxes. And so what I'm opening this box is I have a friend who's all gold, heavy gold, and with Brexit coming, I've been speaking with him, on the outside, and I've mentioned before, all my own personal family and friends in my personal life do not know I'm on YouTube gold and silver vlogging, so it's rare that we have deep, in-depth conversations. And Brexit had came up, and I know their reasons for why they've always been all gold, and been little nudges from myself, but he was maybe interested in trading out some of these gold, so the deal's going to be in my favor. I'll be trading this box out maybe for some gold, so it's going to be 100 ounces of silver he wants. I believe he has well over 50 ounces of gold, or British sovereigns and British gold Britannias, and so he may be interested. We've worked out a potential deal, so I'm going to open this box. I didn't open all of them when I did buy them, and just go over them and check over them. Also answer a quick question I had regarding whether it's wise to open these types of boxes, whether it's a mint tube or anything. And I've said before, but when you do come to sell a box like this to any type of UK dealer, the first thing they're going to do, if you go in store, if you send in, is exactly what I'm doing here. They're never going to take it off of your word that, hey, it's a brand new sealed box, never been opened. If that was the case, it'd be happy days for all the robbers out there. You need to go over and check. Now, if you're buying for long-term storage, the dealer I got this off, I trust, I know everything should be perfect and fine. But dealers will always go over. If you was to take this into a dealer, for instance, they would want to go over these in depth and just look at them. If you've done business with a dealer before, it may be as simple as this, checking one, but they're always going to open them up, whether it's, or take a random one and go over them. So whether you're giving it to a dealer, if you intend to sell to a dealer, it's not going to make a massive difference whether it's sealed or not. You're not going to get no extra premium. Where it will make a big difference when doing a trade for this question is on the secondary market, for instance. So if I was to sell these on the secondary market, I could advertise them as the picture here and then advertise them as all sealed. So somebody on the secondary market is going to pay a lot more attention to something like that, as they don't want coins that have either been handled roughly or been sent for grading. Well, that's more of an American thing, but it's more and more of the case here. Perth Mint were the first to do these century boxes of 100 coins you get in a row. Royal Mint started, I believe it was on these coins or a couple of the landmarks before, and they started VAT packing them. It's a nice little touch. I guess they realize people like these little things. Theirs are a little more, I'd say, some would say better or more crude. You could simple, like a vac pack style here. But, it doesn't really do anything for milk spot prevention and stuff. I believe when the coin's infected, it's like an incubation point or period of time to whether they come out in spots or not. But every little helps, There are some people who swear by it. I've taken coins out of vac packs like these before and seen a few spots. So, but in the end of the day, for now, all we have are these measures. But on the secondary market, advertising or even selling a coin roll like this fully sealed, you could ask for a premium or you could sell with more confidence, and you may get more attracted buyers knowing that these have been taken care of. So if you're selling to a dealer, it's not going to make a difference. If you want to sell individually at a later date or to another friend or do a trade like I'm doing, it may not. It may add an extra premium. Like I said, my pal couldn't care less about all of these. He would take them outside of the box. He just wants 100 ounces of silver. Trust me to give him the best deal. So I thought I could get these out and do a video on them. So I hope I've answered on that question there. So getting back into the initial point on why I'm buying gold over silver right now, I'm going to address a lot of the questions when put out, the answers that I get back in. So these are the anniversary coins as mentioned. So we'll go over this pack here and maybe see if we can get into the rest of them. These came, I think it was some of the first batch that the Royal Mint started encapsulating these coins here. The quality, we'll take a good hard look at what the quality is like. BU, the plus point or the big selling point on these was the Mint Trident. So the Trident Privy Mark. So that's the only difference on these coins here. I believe they had a mintage of, I think it was 100,000 or 50k, don't hold me to that. But other than that, they came in the new style of capsules that the Mint was doing. I mean, my pal wouldn't even mind if these came in tubes, as they'll be a lot more easier for storage, but we'll see. But showing a box of silver here once again for all those that get too emotional when I show some gold. The first answer I'd give to one of the most common replies I get from my own videos when I'm talking in favor of gold is, barter. So I know there's different types of preppers out there, and those that stack silver and gold. You've got the doomsday preppers that just believe it's going to be, fire and brimstone and all hell, and every man for himself, Mad Max. As crazy as it may sound to some, there are some people out there, well, a lot of people out there that believe that do stack precious metals. And a lot of the times when a video may go up in favor of gold, the reply I get is, well, how are you going to get any change off of an ounce of gold for a loaf of bread? If gold does inflate 10 or whatever many times, it's going to be worth way too much. How are you going to barter? How are you going to buy a chicken with an ounce of gold? Good luck getting change. It's a response I've heard a lot of times, good luck getting change on that big gold ounce. Whereas with something like this silver, regardless of what size it may be, you're going to have a lot more, change and opportunities when you're out shopping with all your silver in your pocket, getting some chicken and eggs and a piece of bread. Now, as I mentioned, I think these types of people, individuals, fall more heavily into the doomsday prepping type. I've said before, I've got a family and I like to put my positive energy into positive outcomes and outlooks. I'm not naive and, close my eyes and say it can never happen and huddle up. But anything is possible, but I don't put any energy into that train of thought. Anything is possible. Will we end there? I'm going to put my energy in towards no. We could have something a lot less. We could have something a lot worse. It's obvious these people have put their energy into this train of thought. They can give their reasons, but I don't take that train of thought on board. I don't believe we're going to have a Mad Max scenario. All the, powers or heads of power are going to be in their bunkers and we're up here trading, chickpeas and eggs and the likes of with gold and silver. It's been said before, even that kind of thought is working off the principle that, we're going to be still working on a currency, if we are in that state, a dead currency. So attaching a dead US dollar or pound to a physical metal. And if we are in that state, brought on by a financial collapse of any kind, then it's also like backwards thinking that with the currency's collapsed, your ounce of silver is worth, I don't know, $200, when dollars would have been the cause of the problem. We won't be even trading in that type of denomination no more. So looking at it like that, I've always said if we did ever get into a barter type, and I know there's a lot of people that mention Venezuela right now for 10 ounces of silver or an ounce of gold, whatever, you could buy a block. I also think that's somewhat hogwash. If that was the case, you'd see many vultures down there. Not saying there isn't, but I think it's rather tongue-in-cheekish. It's just, it could help somebody maybe pumping precious metals if that was the case. We've seen documentaries on Venezuela, what's happened in the past, Argentina also, and that was just a form of a currency collapse. did precious metals play a massive role? And, you know, was it the case where we seen people that personally gained and showed the opportunities it had then? Who knows? But once again, I don't believe it's the big, massive main factor, whereas one is better than the other. So, you know, I would say in terms of barter, I look at that as more of a doomsday prepper. And nothing against you. Once again, I wouldn't write it off. So I would say there's absolutely no way it's going to happen, but I also wouldn't put too much energy into it, and could see and want, if we ever did get to a scenario like that, some type of a different outcome, because it would be very ugly. I've always said if we ever did see that, all chips are off the table, you know, no holds barred, just, you know, think of the worst and it will be what will be and will be. So I don't put no thought or energy into that type of thinking. So I don't believe that your ounce of gold, you're gonna have no change. I've always said if we did get anything like that, it would be, and that's taken on board this doomsday scenario, it would be a scenario where the dust is settled, and then I don't know, these big massive corporations are not going to shut down. So your Walmarts, your Sainsbury's, your Tesco's and the likes of won't be shutting up shop. And then you're going to have farmers on every other street corner or out in the fields selling all stock in some type of market. It'll be some type of structured system going on, is what I envision. And, you know, there will be some type of currency put in place, whereas you'll be able to then trade in your silver or your gold and then barter from there or trade from there. I don't put much thought into it's going to be all out chaos, collapse, and you've got to do a 10-mile trek to your nearest, you know, black market, shady, precious metals, bread dealer, or wherever that may be. So that's my answer to that. Basically, I don't put any energy in towards it. I don't believe we're going to see a scenario like that. I don't see it to happen. So that would be that one there, in that, you know, you can't barter. So this is why we'll be still going more heavy on gold, and I'll get into the original answer to the question at the end of it, why I'm buying gold over silver. Now, another common one, whether it's videos or people talking about, is that gold in comparison to silver is very underwhelming. Now, you wouldn't think that would be the case, but people, believe me, do say that, and I've had it said to me before. So giving you an example, if we take today's rates, I don't know what we're at now in gold spot price, but if we take a gram of gold, so you're looking at a gram right there, if we can get that into focus, that's 1 gram of gold right there, and this is 0.5, so half of a gram. So this is just a lot thinner than that can be seen. Now, for somebody getting into metals, downside somebody said into getting into gold over silver is that they find this very underwhelming. So it's just purely down to ego. I don't know, some men, maybe girls, like to measure themselves up to me, or you know, measure themselves up against others and find it. I'll just say right now, having just a gram is very underwhelming. You know, they want to feel like they're getting something for their fiat in return. So they would rather hold something like this over something like this. And this is a gram of gold right here. And then you're looking at, say, 3 ounces of silver, not taking premiums into account and just giving us a rough comparison. So they've said they find this very underwhelming, just owning this little gram here, whether they're spending their hard-earned cash and accumulating, as opposed to this here. Now, to answer that question, I would say you're purely just stroking your own ego there, because in the end of the day, we're doing this for means of not getting that, you know, temporary ego satisfaction. We're doing this for a real hardcore means, in that we want to protect our wealth and have the best thing at the time should we see a currency collapse that's going to get the job done. We're not doing this for personal pride and ego here. So holding this here is a lot more weight than holding this here. If this here can get the job done as good as this here, then you have to put your ego aside and pick the best one for you. So putting that to bed, in that this is very underwhelming, and holding this, I would say really just question yourself as to what you're stacking for in the end of the day. You know, in the end of the day, you're always going to be able to trade this. I believe this is equivalent to 3 ounces of gold right here. So if you can just really master your own emotions and not be so emotional and just get what's best for the job, I think that reply as to why people prefer silver and believe it's the main one. And believe you me, many have said they find having gold very underwhelming, as they put so much fear into it and don't see that they've got a massive return, whereas in comparison to silver, they feel like they've got a massive return back. So you need to work on your own emotional state and just work on what gets the job done, and that's going to be gold currently right now is my own train of thought and thinking right there. So as we dig deeper into this box here and we go deeper and deeper into these, the next one is going to be another one at top. That's why people could think silver is the best buy, you know, and gold is bad, and that's going to be the price. And you know, the silver is said many times that silver offers the best opportunities. We're going to go over this. So it's been throughout the history, the lows of silver and the highs of silver, people would say silver is the more undervalued, you know, whereas gold in comparison is overvalued. And, you know, we can't see that today, but at some point, you know, either when the paper manipulation stops, or what's the other ones that I said, when we see the correct ratio kick in, when a currency collapse happens and we get a correction across the board, that will be reflected. Silver's true price will be reflected, you know. And then also to add in with that, you get the infamous gold to silver ratios normally tagged on that same speech when they're really just trying to pimp out why silver is the better buy. So that's going to be, it's the better purchase right now, as it's more undervalued and not priced correctly over gold. With that, I've said this before, I've given the most simple answer, really just working on what we have right here and right now, and that is gold. You could easily say now is viewed more as an industry metal. Apparently, silver. Apparently silver's used more than any of the other precious metals, rhodium, palladium, or gold. So you take silver's also history. Apparently it's been money way before gold was, you know, mined a lot more. It has a true solid history of being money. Then you take where we are technologically today in today's world and all the uses of silver. Then we take the hyper engines and, you know, free gravity and all of the potential to be uses of silver, and we still have what we have today. Yes, we have paper manipulation, but we also have that with gold, yet gold seems to edge along. Silver has a lot more titles now, a lot more, you know, notches on its sleeve, and yet we have what we have in the price. I would say that's purely because, once again, the boys in charge now can do whatever they want, whenever they want. And the current price is a prime example of that. You know, if you believe when we get a currency collapse, it's going to automatically correct itself with no type of manipulation from them on that side, I don't believe that's going to be the case. If we was going to see a very strong price, I'd say even the best price in history on silver, we should be seeing it now. From its energy purposes, medical purposes, and even just advanced technology purposes, we still have the low spot price that we have on silver. I can't tell you why that is. I know both metals are manipulated, but anybody who's somebody should be able to look at that and see that we have something very wrong going on. We know we don't even have many public advocates of the precious metals, Ron Paul or any other person like that. That's in politics, and it doesn't make a difference. It is what it is. So I can't see a collapse or any other type of correction really shooting it up beyond that. It may be, as it's used so heavily in industry, it needs to be kept at this price, and it's just one of a million things that they can afford to keep at this price. If it was something that they was secretly suppressing, you know, like the stock market or some type of crypto or something where they could accumulate it all and then, you know, shoot it up, they own all the mines, I could understand that. But it's something they really couldn't care less about. It's used in industry, it's used up a lot in industry, and I just feel like it's got to the point where it works in everyone's favor to keep it at a sensible set price. And when you have people that try and monopolize and lock in, we've seen what happened to them over history, i.e. the Hunt brothers is a small example there. So given the short answer to that, it's with all of the pluses. So all you have to do right now, if you want to, in the comments, is tell me why silver is the one, why silver is better than gold, why its price is being manipulated, why. And my answer to that is, then why do we have the current price we have right now? If you believe it's because, you know, tomorrow when, you know, the rug gets pulled under, we're going to see a true correction, I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be a million and one other things we could see a correction on. I'm not saying it's going to be a horrible, you know, fall flat on its face, but I don't think it's as big as being advertised or prophesized. And so, you know, that's going to be my answer to that. Now, touching on one of the last ones, it's going to be more UK based, and that's going to be because we've got Brexit around the corner. I'd say we're halfway there now. I think we've got like 15 days time of releasing this video, and then we may not be able to purchase silver. Well, we technically don't get it VAT free, but at a large discount. Not forgetting that the majority of the world gets silver and gold at VAT free, so tax free, so they pay no taxes on top. So for a silver stacker, I've heard a UK stacker tell me, you know, it's the only one, we've got to get it now, because if trade doesn't work out with Europe and we need to start paying VAT on it, everybody and their mother's going to want to stack some silver. Now to that, I would say that's not going to be the case. I don't believe that that's the case. I know out of 10, easily 8 people that couldn't give a damn about silver. Easily. And these people, some have small wealth, you know, handsome wealth. In fact, they didn't care when gold was $200, £200, and it's now over £1,000. They didn't care. That's just what it is. People that are not interested in that, and not to forget, we've had 2008, which is the most recent crash, come and go, and you still have people that couldn't care less about what happens to their savings, if they have any. And that's the point I'm getting at. People are so hard done by, so struck today, so drowning in debt. I know wealthy people that are their empires are built off of debt. They have so much more going on other than, and it's the norm, you know, to be in debt, deep in debt, and just to be able to comfortably pay your monthly bills. Some people are paying up to £6,000 a month in bills, and that's from mortgages, and you know, they're a couple of paychecks away from just being disaster, and they couldn't care less. So saying that, you know, if tomorrow the doors get shut, the tap gets turned off, everybody's going to stop and think, I need silver. I don't think that's going to be the case. Everybody that knows about it and has switched on and clocked onto it is on it now. You'll get the odds tiny percentage that's going to think, I need to jump on board this now. You know, I know a lot of financial advisors don't advocate precious metals for whichever reasons they do. It's on maybe a paper scale. So I don't believe come Brexit, should we be blocked out or kicked out, once everybody realizes what's going on, you know, they're going to be running for the silver door. I think it's going to be the opposite. If you should see a situation like that, as I've mentioned in the past, gold unconsciously is deemed as number one in everybody's head. That could be from Olympics and how you're viewed as gold as number one, silver number two. So you would maybe have a situation of these, you know, imaginary people that are going to be running towards precious metals are now switched on, whereas they'll be going for gold. And not to forget, if Brexit does happen, we're talking UK residents here, gold won't be taxed or VAT'd. So straight off the bat, just getting through the entire process of where even my evolution from purchasing from UK dealers to doing the majority of my purchases from EU, German dealers or Estonia, wherever the likes of, it takes a long time. For your average Joe just getting in and wanted to get straight in, it's going to be a UK dealer, more likely BBP, and you know, they'll be told the VAT on silver. Everyone goes through the training stages, and they'll hear the pros and cons of both, and they'll jump straight on board of gold, already deeming it as number one, hearing the downside to silver. So I think that's not going to also play a massive role, and that gets me to answering the question to the main video here, and that's why I'm mainly focusing on gold now. You know, I think it is the better buy right now, because a lot of the reasons I've given answers to in this video, I don't think are reasons to be banking the house on. And this is what I see a lot of people doing. I don't think you should get caught up thinking that this is very underwhelming, you know, and this is one of the main reasons why you won't collect silver over gold. I am a heavy silver advocate, as shown in the background here. You know, I've got a friend who's all gold, who, if he does get into silver, it'll be 100 ounces. I'll be trading with him here. But I also think a video like this was needed now, very controversial. I know a lot of the silver stackers are very, very emotional, and just wanted to put out there my answers to the most common questions. I'd love to hear in the comments anything else you would say in silver's favor right now, whether it's historical chart data and just, you know, how well you believe it's performed inside or outside of the S&P and the likes of. I would say, you know, in answering questions like that, there's been many other markets somebody could have got involved with, for instance, after 2008, and now that would have made you a multi-millionaire and some than just putting your money into physical or paper precious metals. I've seen that more so. I didn't really do the stock market at all, but just being in the crypto market. I know it's the Wild West to many, but being involved in that market there has been very interesting. I've taken massive losses, I've taken massive gains, but if done right, and with anything you do your due diligence, there are massive gains to be made in such a liquid market that's not heavily, well, that's a downside regulated, but also not heavily manipulated. Everything end up getting manipulated, but I would say those that see silver, and this is the main thing, whether people like to admit it or not, they see this as the jackpot. They see this as the best investment. They don't, they could lie to themselves, and I come across many people like that. This is why I say it so with so much conviction. I think a lot of people are lying to themselves, and they think, buying it today at 20, 15, and tomorrow it's 200 jackpot. You may want to look in other areas and really, really, really realize and think about why you are getting to these. These are great hedges and great insurance, and I've done videos on that, but it'd be great to hear as to why you think silver is the better buy right now over gold. I've shown nothing but silver, so all of those that get emo, please stay back and leave in the comments as to why you think silver is the better buy over gold right now. As I've mentioned, I think gold is the better buy right now because, it offers all the same opportunities, but it also has more of a plus and dealer liking, I believe, right now. I'm not saying that I've stopped stacking silver, so go ahead and leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments on this video, guys. It's gone on long enough. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.